All right, we're moving from boobs into boobs as we continue the list of all the manga that I'm reading on MangaDex, talking about them, talking about whether or not we'll read them on the channel, things like that. Please give me your thoughts. Please point out ones that I ought to pick up as well. Because if it's not on this list and the only place to read it is MangaDex, then I'm probably not reading it. If it's like Yuri, then I'm probably just reading it on Dynasty Scans. If it's something that's released on MangaStream or Viz, I'm probably reading it there. But if it doesn't fall into one of those categories and you think I ought to know about it and it's not on this list, hit me up. Anyways, so this is actually a pretty great series. It's a Yuri series about this girl. Also, these have the exact same rating. What's up with that? About this girl who's obsessed with her friend's breasts, is always trying to grope them. She likes Opie best in the world. She starts having feelings for her. Then things get complicated. There's a little bit of angst, but just a little. It's pretty ecchi, but just a little. Only in some chapters. Other chapters, just nice, heartwarming Yuri antics. So, yeah, check it out. I'm a little bit behind on it. I don't know if we'll read it on the channel or not. I kind of like reading Yuri on the channel, ones that have, some complexity in the relationship and kind of talking about how all the characters must be feeling and how those feelings are kind of set to interact. But I also feel very uncomfortable reading ecchi stuff on the channel, just kind of remarking on those qualities or a scene that is obviously meant for pure titillation. I never really know what to say. It just kind of feels awkward. And yet, if I don't talk about those things, if I don't address them, then we're not really giving full respect to the manga and really acknowledging all the things that the manga is trying to go for. So, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on that. Like, is that an issue for you? For a while, too, back in the old era, when we were actually just showing the manga on the screen, those good old days, I would avoid, things that were excessively ecchi because, of course, YouTube wouldn't like it. But now, unfortunately, we have moved past that. We've had to sacrifice that aspect of the channel to avoid an even greater wrath of YouTube. So I guess this sort of stuff is more on the table than it was before. But as I said, I still feel it just kind of feels awkward. I don't know. Anyways, here's another masterpiece. The anime is airing this season. Quite impressed with it. It doesn't have the same quality of animation as Wataten or Uzumade, unfortunately, but it's still quite nicely animated, and the important parts that you can tell they've put a lot of love into. So this is like a new religion or something that's going to be formed around this manga about Senko-san, who is a she just comes into the life of this exhausted businessman, hoping to pamper him and lift his spirits and keep him healthy and hale. It's really, really lovely, really comforting and soothing and funny at times. The art is great. I don't know. I can't praise it enough. Just see me in the cult of Senko. I'm a high priest. You'll have to join underneath me, but with devotion and time, you too can rise the ranks and be promised a place in Senko's ever-flowing kingdom of Inari sushi and soup. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. This is another BL series that was recommended to me. This is quite the summary. A lot of stuff happening. We'll just read it at some point. Hachimitsu scans, I feel like I've done quite a few things I'm interested in, so that's like that's a good sign, I think. Oh yeah, they were doing like this, and they were doing Nanashino Asterism when it was running. This is by the same author as Nanashino Asterism. I read a bit of it on Dynasty Scans. It's very silly. Yeah, I gotta finish reading this at some point too. Or maybe I don't, because everyone says the ending sucks. Damn it. Okay, this is the new Kurosawa, which after a long, long period has been started to be updated again. The scanlations are coming through again. I think Fukumoto Crazy just wanted to get caught up on Akagi before, or sorry, not Akagi, Kaiji, before they turn their attention to this, which is totally fair. But I'm sure glad it's back. I'm looking forward to getting to read it again. It is the sequel to one of my favorite manga of all time, and to one of the series that I think could be called Fukumoto's masterpiece, that and or 10. Um, I think the sequel has gone in all sorts of bizarre directions, but has always kept me really entertained and emotionally engrossed. So we'll see what happens. Look at these characters. Don't you want to see what's going on here? Just from this title, or just from this cover, don't you want to know? This is another Saki spinoff. I think we're a couple chapters behind on it. Yeah, we'll get to those soon. It's set way back in the past. Hey, look, we were just talking about this kanji earlier. It's the past of various pros. We're going to learn more about those pros in mainline Saki, and this kind of shows their backstory, I guess. It's quite nice. I think Igarashi has a really lovely art style. Yeah, this we just picked up because I realized that it had now been officially serialized, so it got moved to this one. Or rather, this was the original, and then this was the serialization that we just picked up. So I'll have to start reading this. But this was really nice. Very, very cute. Big forehead. Good shogi action. Good stuff. This is the only isekai series that I can stand. And I don't even know why. It's just really cute and nice, and has a nice easygoing pace. And although it has a whole lot of isekai cliches, like the fact that she's absurdly powerful because she spent 300 years killing slimes, it has a few other kind of twists and stuff too, but you know that it's always kind of twisting away from normal isekai towards more heartwarming, quiet, calming adventures. So I'm totally into that. Really nice stuff. Art is fantastic. This is one that the first chapter came out quite a while ago, and then recently it started getting updated again. It's about fishing. Girls out fishing. You can probably kind of guess exactly what it's like based on that. There is a bit more kind of emotional weight to it because the girls have each lost a parent, and there's kind of some sentimentality and some sadness around that, which is quite nice. But you know, it's all about that fishing. How to do that fishing. Slow start, an absolute masterpiece by this person who is an absolute legend of Saki Dojinshi, specifically this pairing, just making book after book after book about these two and their imagined romance together, which I just love. Like that is so beautiful to me. That sort of devotion, I think is again so key to my understanding of the beauty of this medium and of Dojin culture and all of that stuff. So slow start carries on with a lot of that sensibility. Wonderful Yuri adventures, especially around this character Aiko, who's basically in the center of like a Yuri harem. It's really great. So much of it is kind of what you would expect from this sort of four girls, four koma moe slice of life thing. And yet the characters just go a little bit further than you would expect, and it leads to some really kind of almost mind-blowing things. Wow, I'm 2 chapters behind. I'm gonna have to read those because any chapter could have some really thrilling developments. This was an expansion of a series of dojins, which I read a bit of. I think I read the entirety of the Dojin series, and then I'm getting caught up on the serialization version. It's a Yuri series. It's again a little more forward and explicit than, not explicit in terms of like lewdness, but explicit in terms of like not beating around the bush than kind of high school Yuri, which is a nice change of pace. It's pretty good. Character designs are good. The way that the Dojin ends is very interesting too, and I wonder if the serialization will end up going in that same direction. I feel like this person did a couple other things. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways. This is another B-Cub. 4 Koma Madness. We're reading a bit of it on Batoto. It looks like it hasn't been brought over here. Maybe we'll try to find it at some point. It's really insane, just absolutely insane. This was a nice story about this girl that is riding trains into really surreal places. It reminds me a lot of Yume Nikki. I'm not sure if we can really read it on the channel without showing the pages, just because it would be so hard to talk about. There's little to no dialogue in the parts that I'd read, at least. But it really, I don't know, it's pretty mind-blowing art. So I'm not sure why it's not on here. So I don't know, we gotta find the chapter somewhere else, I guess. Sure. This is another Mahjong series. I read the first part of this a long time ago, and now I'm like way behind. It might be a good one to read on the channel at some point. It's like a very thorough psychological investigation of Mahjong games, which I'm super into, with a lot of cool Mahjong strategies and stuff as well, I'm sure. Nothing too mind-blowing. I think it keeps it pretty down to earth in terms of the actual Mahjong action, which is nice and a change of pace from Saki. So yeah, I'd like to read this at some point. It would be a good one to read on the channel. This is like a 4-coma of Cinderella Girls. I read all that was out at one point, which I think is probably all of this, because I wanted to write Idol Master Dojinshi, and I wanted to learn about the characters some more. So I did, and maybe I'll draw some more at some point in the future. Why did I want to make Idol Master Dojinshi? It is a long story. But yeah, I kind of like these slice of life 4-coma spinoffs where it's like you know that the readers are typically very enfranchised and really like the characters, and then you can just kind of have the characters play to their strengths in a variety of antics and stuff. Right now I'm watching a Strike Witches spinoff that got animated. It's very low budget, but it's a lot of fun, just because I like those characters and I have such expectations of them. I don't know what's up with this. This might be something else that someone recommended to me and that I kind of followed. Oh yeah, probably Waterflame recommended it because they're scanlighting it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I haven't started reading this. This will probably be a good one to read on the channel. Looks like it has that kind of complexity to it. We see these tags, we know something's going down. All right, we're on the final page. We're getting there. Look at this wonderful illustration again. This is a nice romance series. The art is very expressive and cute. It's about this extremely shy girl who develops a crush on a boy and their eventual romance. I kind of like that the whole mutual confession and going out phase didn't end the series, but just kind of shifted it. And that there's more lovey-dovey adventures to follow. It's nice. I'm getting more into hetero romance. For too long, I think I disregarded it out of principle. And it's more just that there was a specific type of story I rejected, and kind of like a specific feeling that I couldn't get out of it, that I could only get out of Yuri. And for the most part, I continue to only be able to get that feeling out of Yuri. But I can now start to understand Het through the lens of Yuri, if that makes sense, and appreciate it a little more. So I've been reading stuff like this and really enjoying it. Here we have, of course, the latest arc of Kaiji. If you don't know about Kaiji, I don't really want to say too much about it, and you shouldn't even be reading this. It's a continuation of this one. They're both great. We're just going to keep reading it. Who knows where it'll go from here. This is Akagi, of course, another absolutely legendary Fukumoto series, which has ended. As of quite recently, relative to its entire run, it has ended. And we have not finished reading it. I think we read up until around here. I'm too scared to finish reading it. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm so scared that I'll be disappointed. I'm so scared that it's finally ending. I have so many memories of this series. It just went on and on and on. One of the most legendary matches ever depicted in any game, in any medium. Finally coming to an end. I don't know, man. All right, so we'll read it eventually. I promise you that. We will get to it eventually, but it'll have to be a specific time when I really feel like in the mood, where I feel like I can really understand. Yeah, this is Toki, another Saki spinoff. Oh, we're a little bit behind on it. That's exciting. I'm really enjoying it. The art is fantastic. The Yuri action, which shockingly is not represented in these tags here, has been getting very developed and really engaging. The Mahjong action is quite infrequent, but interesting when it shows up. Yeah, another great entry in the whole Saki Empire. Torikisa, Bird Cafe, Bird Cafe. I love this series. I love this series. I think I'm a little bit behind on it. We were reading it on the channel. I was really enjoying it. I don't know if I'll keep reading it on the channel. I never really had that much to say about it. I just wanted to promote it as much as possible because I think the series is so great. The art is fantastic. It's hilarious. The characters are great. It's heartwarming. There's some wonderful cooking action, a wonderful fantasy world that's just subtly but enchantingly developed. It's so great. It's so great. Everyone should read this. So I don't know. Maybe we'll keep reading it on the channel again, just to promote it. Even if all I can really say on any given page is, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's fun." This I'm reading. This I might actually read on the channel because even though it's another cute girls doing cute things for Coma, the plot is actually quite mysterious and develops quite a bit. The anime covered like up until like only 2 or 3 chapters ago, so getting into stuff that's brand new to me is quite exciting too. I really like the anime, but the manga is, I think, going to be even better in the long run with just this new territory that it gets to, and it looks like the plot is going to be a lot more epic, for lack of a better word, than I thought it would be. That we're really going to go the whole journey with them, which is so exciting. Yeah, I think this is a fantastic series. The scenes. So it's about these girls that are fortune tellers. I keep forgetting to actually explain the plot, but you can like read, I guess. These girls are fortune telling trainees, and the scenes in which they call upon guidance and do fortune telling and stuff is really well depicted. An almost like psychedelic sequence ensues. It's yeah, it's great. Really well drawn, really cute, good Yuri action. I'm all about it. So we might pick it up on the channel. Just because there is that kind of mystery and speculation and stuff. And yeah, it's nice. This one's really silly. It's about these rabbits that come from the moon. On the moon, they basically work at like a black corporation and are horribly mistreated and just have to slave away all the time. They're blasted down to Earth, where of course things are not quite that bad, but still feel the need to basically act as slaves, which is awkward for the person whose apartment they end up crashing into. It's a lot of fun. The art is really cute. It's got nice, surreal, and almost grotesque elements. Ah, see, I thought that name seemed familiar. Look at that. These series have like nothing in common. Oh, and this one too. What the hell? I guess I'll have to read this as well. Sure. Anyways, yeah, check it out. It's pretty funny. I'm glad that it looks like Scanlation is maybe getting picked up for it again. This is another spin-off of Akagi. This is Washizu, his fated enemy, his life before he meets Akagi and has that legendary like 20-year-long gamble. It's very silly, very over the top. Washizu is just basically a superhuman, both in luck and charisma, but also just raw physical strength on a number of occasions. But it sure is very entertaining. I hope Scanlation picks up on it again at some point. I think I've read everything that's out so far. This is Watamote, which of course we've been reading on the channel, and we will continue reading on the channel. It's everyone's favorite Yuri harem series. We're a little bit behind, so we'll have to take care of that when we can. It's a good one. It's become like a worldwide phenomenon. It had that kind of like blitz of popularity right near the start, and then the anime drove it up again in popularity. Now it seems like it's kind of quieted down, but the series itself, I think, has never been better. It's really gone on to become much more emotionally deep than I ever would have thought. It's expanded its kind of emotional territory so much more, and it's so kind to its characters. After all that suffering, you can tell just from this cover here that things have changed. Things have changed for our Tomoko. This is Wataten. If you want to learn about Wataten, you got to watch the video. Winter anime review, or Winter 2019 anime reviews. That'll tell you all you need to know about this series. This one's pretty silly. It's a 4-koma about this girl who is roped by 2 huge baseball enthusiasts in her class to become a baseball fan. They're always vying for what team she's going to cheer for. And it's kind of interesting. Like, most of the time, these sort of series would have the girls playing baseball, right? Like, that just makes sense. And yet here, they're only watching it. It's just about watching baseball and like learning the teams and learning the strategies, learning the players, and learning how to properly cheer and all of this stuff. And it's kind of interesting. The art is really cute. Hopefully, again, Scanlations will pick up at some point. It says We Can't Draw Love, a really nice Yuri series that I'd like to pick up on the channel once my little Yuri hiatus is over. It's about these 2 girls. They work on manga together. They've always been kind of doing romantic scenes in order to find good poses and stuff for the manga, but slowly they develop feelings for each other. But how will they articulate these feelings when so many lines have already been crossed for the sake of play? Let's see. More like We Can't Draw, lol. Huh? Anyways, it's quite nice. Wotakoi! I love this series. Another hetero romance that I just kind of found myself getting into, despite my typical distaste for it. It's about 2 otaku who work together, who start dating. It's really, really cozy. It's up there in coziness with Hataraku Futsari, or whatever that series is called. Oh boy, new chapter. Yeah, it's just about these 2 and another couple they hang out with, and just their kind of day-to-day lives. It has a lot of fun anime jokes and stuff. If you're a big otaku, you can catch a lot of those, which is nice. A lot of big kind of diegetic breaks where they go into video games and such, which I find very funny. Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much praise. Like, I mean, I can't praise this one enough, is what I'm saying. The art is really nice too. And of course we bloom into you. We are way too far behind on this. I'm reading it on Dynasty Scans, but I think I've only read up until like here, maybe. So we will read this on the channel eventually. Trust. I've got a whole lot to say about this series. A whole lot. Yatsuba, of course, a masterpiece. We're a little bit behind on that too. It's just an absolute masterpiece. I don't know what I can possibly say about it. This is as near perfect as manga has come. As near to perfect as manga has come. Oh, it's so great. Oh, it's just so great. I just wish it came out more frequently. And then again, maybe I don't, because maybe it'd end faster if that was the case. Yuri Danshi. This is an insane series about this guy who's like me. He's a man who's obsessed with Yuri and his kind of insane adventures and stuff. I don't even know where to begin talking about the antics he gets into, but sometimes they actually kind of break down and talk about the appeal of Yuri and how it works as a genre, and at those times I actually find it that I agree that they kind of get it, which it shouldn't be too shocking. I mean, it's not like I have some unique property that makes me able to understand Yuri where others can't, but sometimes I think I do. Sometimes I guess I get that sort of ego in me where I feel like I alone can perceive what truly makes Yuri great, but I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, this is another Yuri series. It's about a whole family, each sister and their own little lesbian romance. It's pretty fun. Chapters are very short. I should get caught up at some point. I don't know if we'll read it on the channel. It's pretty straightforward. It's just nice. And the last one on this list is another Yuri series. YuriCon, all about Yuri weddings. It has this awesome shifting thing where each story sets up the plot of the next one, which is kind of like a little aside or a small detail that then is expanded on, and you follow that little story that it unearths all the way to the wedding. So it's just super lovely. Okay, that's it. That's all the manga I'm reading. Of course, plus my Dynasty Scans following list, which is also quite long. And then all the stuff I read on Manga Stream, which is like, what, a couple things now, because most of it now I'm reading on Viz. There's a bunch here. I'm reading a lot of manga. I guess that's the takeaway from this video. I'm reading a lot of manga. Please let me know what you think of any of them. Are there ones that you'd like to see me discuss that I am not currently discussing? What other series do you know of that I should pick up that you didn't see me talk about? It may just be that I forgot about it and it's not on my follows list even though I have read it or I'm reading it, or that I read it on one of these other sites. But if it's not on my list, which I think you can get to yourself if you want, just by going to this URL or by going to my profile and clicking this, if you wanted to check out any of these that we were talking about. Yeah, manga is great. Of course, I think that. And one of the things that I love about it so much as a medium, that's kind of less about the actual qualities of it as a medium and more about how it's delivered to me, is just this steady stream of content that I get. That every day there's many new chapters of things to read, which is so great. Sometimes overwhelming, but overall great. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So that's it for this little hour-and-a-half long trio of videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do a similar one at some point for my Dynasty Scan lists, but I don't know. A lot of these are just like short little series that are like two-parters or whatever. Anyways, that's all for now. Bye-bye.